Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. A few days ago, I had the pleasure of watching a movie on Tubi called Love Unexpected. And if I had to rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a solid 9.5. If you've been following my Tubi movie reviews on the channel, then you'll know that this is a very high rating coming from me for a movie on the Tubi platform. So if you lend me a few minutes of your time, I plan to talk a little bit about the movie. I'll discuss some of the things that I like, and I'll also talk about one of the gripes that I had about the movie. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. So when I first saw the opening for the movie, I had some concerns. Because from my past experiences, whenever that Maverick Entertainment screen pops up on Tubi, there's bound to be some scandalous scenes that are written into the storyline. And if I were a betting man, I would have probably been a millionaire with this theory. In Love Unexpected, we as the viewing audience follow the character Chase. Chase is a student in college, and we first see him celebrating his girlfriend Amanda's birthday. Amanda and Chase have been together for 6 months, and they've had discussions of potentially getting married and starting a family. There's just one minor problem with this plan. Brother Chase has been giving Amanda's sister Tiffany that good old pickle tickle, and Amanda's mother, Mrs. Johnson, also throws her name into the hat of lovely ladies that need to get their cheeks clapped by Chase. The only person at Amanda's party who hesitates to warm up to Chase is Amanda's father, Mr. Johnson. He and Chase exchange words because Mr. Johnson doesn't like Chase at all, and this causes Chase to give Amanda her birthday present earlier than expected. The birthday present, in my opinion, was the ultimate FU to Amanda and her family, because it was in the form of a videotape that shows Chase and Tiffany having an affair for everybody at the party to see. And for good measure, Chase airs out Amanda's dirty laundry by telling the group that she's been cheating with Tiffany's boyfriend, and by telling Mr. Johnson that his wife, Mrs. Johnson, has had some scandalous behaviors towards him as well. So with an opening scene like this, I wondered if the movie would get any crazier. But to my surprise, the movie comes out of loony mode and grounds us into a story of why Chase is the way that he is, and how a random meeting with one woman would change the trajectory of his life forever. So there were several things that I liked about the movie Love Unexpected. First, I want to mention the acting. I think that all the main characters in the movie brought their A game to the movie. There were a few scenes that showcased some of the funny moments in the movie, but for the most part, this movie is a love story with several elements of drama. I think that all the main characters were able to convey a range of emotions when appropriate, and that made their character very believable. I appreciate the overall storytelling for the movie. After we as the viewing audience learn that Chase views himself as a player, we see the unstoppable force known as Chase encounter a character that's an immovable object known as Kary. Kary is a woman who destroys Chase's ego on more than one occasion, and she does this because she simply wants a man that can add value to her life and not one that can take value away. Kary and Chase's best friend are two characters that constantly challenge Chase's outlook on women and dating. I enjoyed watching Chase and Kary take their journey together because it felt like an organic love story that was truly fleshed out. I enjoyed learning about Chase's family dynamics and how his relationship with his mother had caused him to have issues with trust and abandonment. In my opinion, this movie does an amazing job when it comes to addressing the tough conversations that our society really don't want to have when it comes to broken men who try to enter the dating world. In my opinion, Chase is a very relatable character to a lot of men out there, because most of his actions are rooted in fear, as well as trying to overcompensate for something that is lacking in his life. So in my opinion, this movie does an amazing job at putting Chase's issues on Front Street and forcing Chase to deal with them as he tries to navigate on how to heal from his past trauma, as well as moving forward when pursuing the future with Kary. If I had to point out another thing that I liked about the storytelling, it will be the dynamic between Chase and his father. Chase's father and how he interacts with women definitely explains part of why Chase behaves the way that he does. But regardless of his father's actions, his father still provides some sound advice to Chase that helps Chase walk along the right path. Now, although this movie is considered an independent movie, I didn't see any glaring issues with the production, the editing, or the sound quality. So that was a plus. In my past reviews for Tubi movies, I've heavily criticized movies for having time jumps that really didn't flow with the storytelling or reflect the actors' appearances. But in this movie, they do a good job at limiting the time jumps while giving the main characters a different look that reflects the time jump. And lastly, I liked the movie's ending. Towards the end of the movie, Chase and Kary had broken up, which gave Chase the time that he needed to work on himself and get his ducks lined up to be a successful man. He then encounters Kary and learns that they had a baby together, and he begs her to give him another chance. This ending, in my opinion, was the perfect way to close out the movie. So earlier I mentioned that I had a gripe about this movie, which prevented me from giving it a perfect 10. My gripe for this movie would be its decision to put the majority of the characters in college or as young adults. As I sat there and watched the movie, I couldn't help but notice that most of the college-age characters look well over 25, if not well over 30. And in my opinion, this movie would have been picture perfect if the characters were in their late 20s or early 30s. Take away the college setting, and you still have a pretty good story of young adults trying to navigate their way around life. But outside of that one issue, I thought that this movie was one of the better movies on Tubi, and I thought that most people who watch this movie will come away having gained something from it. But those are my thoughts, and this concludes my review. If you have any questions or comments related to the review, feel free to leave them below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.